Chapter 2, Section 3, The Legacy of Mesopotamia. What is your most prized accomplishment? Was it a sport or musical instrument you mastered? A friend you made? A job you did? Why does this accomplishment mean so much to you? Pause and think about this for a second. Questions to think about during this section. Why was Hammurabi's code a major step forward for humankind? How did writing develop in Mesopotamia? Key terms: code, cuneiform, and key people, Hammurabi. All can be defined for you in your notes. Please have your graphic organizer out through the Google form to complete as you read through the section or watch this video.
If a man has destroyed the eye of a man of the class of gentlemen, they shall destroy his eye. If he has broken a gentleman's bone, they shall break his bone. If he has destroyed the eye of a commoner, or broken a bone of a commoner, he shall pay 1 mina of silver. If he has destroyed the eye of a gentleman's slave, or broken a bone of a gentleman's slave, he shall pay half the slave's price. If a gentleman's slave strikes the cheek of a gentleman, they shall cut off the slave's ear. From Hammurabi's Code.
What kind of justice system do you think we would have if our laws were not written down? If a judge was free to make any law he or she wanted, what if the judge could give any punishment? Would people think that laws were fair? A written code or organized list of laws helps make sure laws are applied fairly to all. We owe that idea that all laws should be written down and applied fairly to the Babylonians. It was King Hammurabi who set down rules for everyone in his empire to follow. These rules are known as Hammurabi's Code. The code told the people of Babylon how to settle conflicts in all areas of life. Hammurabi's Code contained 282 laws organized in different categories. These included trade, labor, property, and family. The code had laws for adopting children, practicing medicine, hiring wagons or boats, and controlling dangerous animals. An eye for an eye. Hammurabi's Code was based on the idea of an eye for an eye. In other words, a man who blinded another person would have his own eye put out. However, the code did not apply equally to all people. As the laws at the beginning of the section show, the code gave different punishments for breaking the same rules. The harshness of the punishment depended on how important the victim was. The higher the class of the victim, the stiffer the penalty. Thus, an ox owner would pay half a mina of silver if the ox gored a noble. If the victim was a slave, the owner would pay only 1/3 of a mina. A person who accidentally broke a rule was just as guilty as a criminal. Results were what mattered. People, such as doctors who could not control the outcome of their work, had to be very careful, as the following law shows.
If a surgeon performs a major operation on a citizen with a bronze lancet knife and has caused the death of this citizen, his hand shall be cut off.
Laws for everyone. You probably know a lot of rules. There are rules for taking tests, playing ball, and just living in your home. People follow or break rules all the time. What then was the importance of Hammurabi's Code? The laws are important to us because they were written down. With written laws, everyone could know the rules and the punishments. These punishments may seem harsh to us, but they were the first attempt by a society to set up a code of laws that would apply to everyone. The art of writing. Think how difficult it would be to carry on life if no one knew how to read and write. But writing did not just naturally develop. For most of human life, people did not have the art of writing. Writing developed in Mesopotamia in about 3500 BC, long before Hammurabi issued his code. The people of Sumer developed a system of writing. Writing met the need of Sumerians to keep records. Record keepers were very important and busy people in Sumer. Since only a few people could write, it was one of the most valuable skills in the ancient world. Scribes held positions of great respect in Mesopotamia. The scribes of Sumer recorded sales and trades, tax payments, gifts for the gods, and marriages and deaths. Some scribes had special tasks. Military scribes calculated the amount of food and supplies that an army would need. Government scribes figured out the numbers of diggers needed to build a canal. Written records then went out to local officials who had to provide these supplies or workers. Pages of hard clay. What did the scribes of Mesopotamia write on? The Tigris and Euphrates rivers provided a perfect material, clay. Each spring, the rivers brought down clay from the mountains. Scribes shaped the soft, wet clay into smooth, flat surfaces called tablets. They marked their letters in it with sharp tools. When the clay dried, it left an almost permanent record. The shape and size of a tablet depended on its purpose. Larger tablets were used for reference. They stayed in one place, like the heavy atlases and dictionaries in today's libraries. Smaller tablets, the size of letters or postcards, were used for personal messages. Even today, these personal tablets can be fun to read. They show that Mesopotamians used writing during the ups and downs of everyday life.
This is really a fine way of behaving. The gardeners keep breaking into the date storehouse and taking dates. You yourselves cover it up and do not report it to me. Bring these men to me after they have paid for the dates.
It's cool, man.
From pictures to writing. Like most inventions, writing developed over time. At first, people drew pictures to represent what they wanted to say. Grain, oxen, water, stars. Each important object had its own symbol. As people learned to record ideas as well as facts, the symbols changed. Eventually, scribes combined symbols to make groups of wedges and lines known as cuneiform. Cuneiform script could be used to represent different languages. This made it highly useful in a land of many peoples. This is the end of the section. 2 questions I'd like you to be able to answer and focus on is 1, why was Hammurabi's code so important? And 2, why was the development of writing a big step in human history? Please make sure to complete the Google form attached to this assignment, and we'll see you in class tomorrow.